Welcome to Talk About Nerds, a bi-weekly, always geeky podcast about all things nerd. My name is Sindre, and with me I have my magically gifted friend, Åvar.
Hello.
And my younger edition, the jockiest of nerds, Kenneth. This podcast is a product of Nords and Nerds, a media group where we stream D&D on Mondays, Magic the Gathering on Tuesdays, and Warhammer on Wednesdays every week. Today's episode is sponsored by Victory Point, your local hobby store in Bryne, Norway. Victory Point is a large gaming area where the communities and in-store play are the number one priorities.
Victory Point, the starting point of your victories.
Okay, boys, welcome back to the podcast. It's been another 2 weeks.
Yes.
Are you
Yes,
all
sir.
ready to jump back into it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, Kenneth, anything interesting happened last week? Or two?
No, not for me. I've been stuck with my SG1, trying to catch up with my nerdom. Trying to binge that.
You still have until episode 25 for the quiz.
Okay. I'm in season 2 now, halfway through season 2, so I'm on en route.
Oh, it's interesting. I haven't seen it myself, so I have no idea. So the quiz is going to be interesting because I'm not going to know the answer myself.
Ooh.
And I'm going to be fresh off watching, and Åvar has
And
not seen it in like 10, 20 years.
Probably like 8-10 years, something like that.
That's the one quiz I need to win.
But I'm gonna ask your brother for access to it possibly because I need to rewatch it. It's an excellent show. You should like if you're listening to this and you haven't watched Stargate SG1, you should.
So you're not allowed to watch it before the quiz. You have to wait for after that quiz before you watch it.
Definitely.
Can't stop me.
He needs a chance.
No.
I need a chance. I need one win.
I need to keep my victory streak. God damn it.
True.
How about you, Åvar? Anything other than Corona?
I was sick. I binged a lot of stuff.
Nice. That's the...
But it sucked to be sick though. So
Yeah, but that's the positive side of being sick. If you are able to consume content,
yeah, true.
you get a lot of extra time to consume content.
Yes, I watched a couple of TV series. I tried to watch a Vampire the Masquerade series.
Ooh, I didn't know that existed.
Oh no, I didn't either until your brother mentioned it to me, and it's very 90s. So
Nice.
we might discuss that at another time. So, you, Sindre, anything new?
Yeah,
But-
I've started watching the Legend of Vox Machina, Machina,
Machina.
which I've seen the entire first campaign of Critical Role, which is what this is based on. And I've seen the first 3 episodes of this show, and it's amazing.
Yes.
The style is amazing, the show is amazing, and it's just fantastic to see sort of like things that I've seen before, but just around a tabletop, the same way we're playing D&D now,
Mm-hmm.
on stream and everything. But to see that come to life in a animated show, it's just amazing to me.
It's like the phrase is, it's magical.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And it's sort of, I get all the feelings while watching this. This is sort of like, it's just insane that their little home game became a fucking animated show
Mm.
on Amazon Prime. And just to see sort of like the stories they sat and told around the table become life.
Yeah, because for me, I haven't actually watched the show Critical Role. I'm on the 3rd campaign now. I've started watching it,
Yeah.
but I didn't watch the Vox Machina one.
No, I've only
That's-
watched that one.
Yeah, because the animated show is very good and it's very D&D. If you haven't even watched Critical Role at all, you'll still probably like it. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same animation team as the one that made Castlevania. The series, I mean, on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's
Because the animation style is more or less identical.
Is it a show that you would recommend to someone who's not really into D&D either? Like a guy who just doesn't watch D&D or play D&D. Is it still a decent show for that guy?
I would say so, yes.
I think so, yeah.
It's got a lot of action, excellent humor.
Fantastic humor.
The drama is they are professional voice actors, so it's done very well.
And they have some really good voice actors in the show as well.
Yeah, but that's
Like-
that's what I mean.
Yeah, but except for just the cast as well. They have actors like David Tennant,
Yeah,
playing a voice.
I love that.
I heard it immediately, and it's just, David Tennant is amazing. But for me as well, it's like playing D&D for so many years and then seeing something that portrays D&D so well in an animated show. I feel like there have been live action, there have been animated shows, everything in D&D, but nothing captures the essence of D&D as well as this show has. Like the feeling that this is something that could happen around my table.
Yeah.
This has happened around my table. My players have done this. And just to see that sort of properly animated, like in the second episode, no, it's the first episode, they try to get through a door.
Yeah.
And 2 or 3 of the characters are just like throwing spells at it, trying to use magic, what is this magical lock? Oh wait, there is no magic. And then the guy just takes a toothpick from a burger or a sandwich or something, and then picks the door and goes through. That's like a proper D&D feeling.
There's always at least 1 or 2 magic casters like, I can fix this. And then they can't because the GM is a smart guy.
Yeah, and then to see some of these spells just come to life, like Bigby's hand. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, for me, I played mostly 3.5 and not so much 5e, but I haven't read up if you can use the spells in that way because there are restrictions built into the game.
Yeah, they are going above and beyond what the actual rules allow you to do in the animated show, but mostly just for sort of gags, for humor.
Yes, but at the same time, it's a creative use that if I was a magician or wizard or sorcerer or whatever the hell, why couldn't I use Bigby's hand, which is capable of lifting objects? Why couldn't I lift the gnome?
Yeah.
It's like a question I've always asked. Because it's like, yeah, you can't lift characters or you can't lift living creatures. Why?
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense at all.
It's a gameplay restriction, which is logically very sound because it's like supposed to make it so you can't like lift a person that's sleeping and drop them from 100 feet, which is very logical, but...
But can GM break this rule? Like, can he allow it?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
The ruling is... in D&D, which I think it says in the start of every DM book, it says, these are rules, but you're free to enhance or change them at your leisure. It's a fantasy role-playing game. Do what you want, essentially. That is not the exact wording, but it's essentially that.
The GM can do whatever he wants, basically.
Well, the GM can allow or disallow anything he desires. Or she desires, or they desire, whatever you mean. I know, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So GM is like more, wanting to break the rule if it's a cool thing or something genius a player comes up with.
Yeah, it's a common rule we've heard a lot more in later times, which is the rule of cool.
Yeah.
If it's cool, I'll allow it.
So Bigby's hand is actually capable of lifting and touching people. And it has a strength score of 26.
Oh.
So you can use it to grapple an enemy.
But this is in 5e.
Lift them. This is 5e, yeah.
Okay.
So it's pretty useful.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen it in play, I think.
I haven't played enough 5e to remember that.
But I'm going to watch the show no matter what. So I'm going to try out to watch the show. You've convinced me, both of you. And I'll get back to say if it's actually something that's fun for a non-D&D player as well.
I think your favorite character is going to be Scanlan.
Probably. He's my favorite.
What character is he?
He is a gnome bard.
That's fun.
He's a bard!
And the most you player is the one who's playing Grog.
Yes.
Which is sort of a jockey guy.
Why wouldn't I like him more then?
Because his character, you'll probably love his character as well.
Okay.
I just think that Scanlan is going to be your favorite character.
Because he makes the most annoying stuff and annoys the other players most and does some tricky stuff and shit like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Essentially, he's a bard, walking bard joke.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the typical bard jokes, which is like, I've opened locks before. That's not the only thing I've opened. Stuff like that.
It's more like corny jokes and stuff.
Oh yeah, a lot of that, but it's also like properly timed and actually like fitting. I think you'll like him. He's my favorite.
Sounds like a guy I wouldn't like because
we'll see.
We'll see.
If it's corny jokes, I'll hate it.
But a thing that I really love about the fact that they've made this show is that I can now share the love of Campaign 1 with people who would never watch a D&D live stream. Because now I can get Kenneth to experience this story that Matt Mercer made for the team and see what Critical Role is all about.
And it is an excellent story.
I'm looking forward to checking it out, but I can't promise anything.
No, you'll try.
I'll try. I'll try
And
my
that's
best.
all I can expect.
I'll watch 3 episodes and decide if I want to watch more after that.
You will.
You will.
They've already been ordered for a second season as well.
Cool. And this is on Amazon, you said?
Amazon Prime, yeah.
I do have me some Amazon Prime, so that should not be a problem.
Yeah, we just watched The Wheel of Time on that show.
Yes.
And we're all going to be watching Lord of the Rings
Yes.
on that
I'm
platform.
particularly looking forward to that one.
Me too.
And if anyone listening here has Amazon Prime, they also give a free Twitch subscription, which you can use to subscribe to our channel if you want.
Yes, sir. Nords and Nerds.
Nords and Nerds on Twitch.
We would greatly appreciate the support.
But talking about Wheel of Time, I particularly love the magic they do there, because it's quite uncommon the way they do it.
Yeah.
Well, it's common in the sense that you have the elements, but they describe it in a particular way as if the characters are weaving the elements together to make an effect. So, for example, if they wanted to make lob a ball of heated water at someone, they would channel water and fire together in a specific pattern to make a ball of water that's superheated, steaming water. For example, or frozen, it would be water and air.
Yeah, that's
Stuff
one
like
of the
that.
things I don't love as much about the live show as I do the books, because they don't really convey the weaving in a very good way.
Yeah.
Because it's all just white strands in the air that flow around, while in the books it's 5 different elements that are all woven together to create this magic.
Yeah.
And they have to be particular about pulling the strings out of the fabric of the universe, sort of.
At least the female, the women who do magic in that system describe it as weaving the source into a pattern.
For a guy who hasn't read the books, I thought the way they did it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like I really felt like they were actually like building something when they were doing this, taking strings, having a lot of stuff that they need to get together to be able to perform the magic.
Yeah,
so I actually thought it was pretty cool.
Which is exactly what they're doing. It's just that I don't think they found a good way to make it look good with all the different colors and to make it consistent every time they're making something that, this time they need fire and earth and all of that. And that probably became confusing when they tried to make it.
Yes, probably.
So I understand why they changed it, but it's an interesting decision.
I didn't know anything about these different elements and stuff like that, though. But like just the way that, like visually, the way they do it, I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, so it's air, earth, fire, spirit, and water.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I would say that one part is particularly excellent, actually. I like the way they did it, which is, spoilers, when they have the false dragon imprisoned and they weave the shield around him. I like that.
Yeah.
Because it's very like, from the books, it's how I imagine they weave a spherical shield around him and then they shrink it to encompass him perfectly. And it's like, yes, that is how I imagine it.
Yeah. Is it a new style of doing magic in movies or TV shows that I haven't seen before?
I don't believe. I think the closest would probably be bending from Avatar. Avatar, The Last Airbender, and the other one.
True. I hope you're not talking about the live action movie.
No. Never.
Oh, and it's very interesting that when they finish their weave, they actually tie them off.
Yeah.
So sort of like a fireball, for example. You weave it together and then you tie the knot and throw it.
Yeah.
If you don't tie it off, it's sort of connected to you or to the weave until it's sort of finished.
And this is a style it's nothing you're used to. It's a more complex way of doing it. That's pretty cool.
It seems like in this TV series, Wheel of Time, it seems like a more strenuous way of doing magic. Because you have to concentrate about the separate parts, which is described in the book as well. But you have to like take one part and put it together with another part and weave those together. And then you have to take a third part and weave that together with the first two. And then you can do something. It's like it's a very complex art, essentially, it seems like, in the series. And in the books, it's described as such. So that part I like, yes, that seems fair. A fair representation of what they do in the book, but I would like the colors.
Yeah, it would probably be cooler with the colors as well. But as Sindre said, how do you make that look good without going overboard or getting it too cartoonish or getting it too wild?
I have a couple of ideas. If it was Earth they used, Earth channeling, they could take the brown from the ground, copying that color. And then they used air, and that would just be whitish, bluish. They could do many things.
But when they're weaving it together, are they actually taking elements from where they're standing, or are they, in a way, making the elements in the air?
Essentially, they're summoning it from nothing, mostly. It's essentially assigning an attribute to an energy they have access to in the world around them and in themselves, because they have a limited amount. And then they assign these different parts to do an effect together, thereby making the weaving.
Yeah.
It's also very interesting because the power that a female channels and the power that a male channels are different. So when a female channels, every other female who can channel can see the weaves.
Mm.
But when a male who can channel is around them, he can't see these weaves. And if a male channels, the woman cannot see the same weaves that he's making.
But at the same time, a male can sense it to a degree.
They can feel it,
Yeah.
In some way. Some of them can, I think.
Yeah, so not all, I believe. It depends on how strong you are.
Yeah, and I think the opposite goes for women as well. Or
Yes,
does it not?
I believe
I
so.
don't remember. And it might be different in the show. We don't know yet. And also, they have names because it's Saidin and Saidar, which I had
The
forgotten
male-
until I read it here.
The male and females?
Yeah.
No,
So Saidin is the female one,
yes,
and Saidar is the male one, I think.
Saidar and Saidin. It's the male and it's the male and female.
No, Saidar is the female one.
It's the male and female halves of the source or the energy they use to do magic.
The power.
The power.
And then you have the one.
The one power.
If Sadai is the male,
Saidin.
Sadine.
Saidin.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking it was Sadai was the male power source, but the female people are called Asadai.
Yeah, but it's essentially like the way the difference between witch and witches.
True.
Saidin is like the female source, and Sedai is like a female channeler. It's just a title, essentially.
True. I was just thinking it would be weird if the power for male was the same name as the female sources.
If I don't remember incorrectly, Asadai is the name of both in the time of Age of Legends, before the breaking and before the male power became. I'm saying a little bit too much now.
Probably, but I believe you're correct. But do not divulge any more.
Yeah,
Do not spoil too
Spoilers.
much.
Asadai means servants of all.
Yeah, something like that. It's a title.
Yeah,
Asadai, cool.
If we wanted to, we could spoil so much.
I know you can.
Yes, I'm trying not to spoil,
Yeah.
while at the same time talking about the interesting magic system, which hasn't been fully revealed yet, so we're still keeping a lot back.
That's actually the thing I hate with movies or movie franchises or TV series that has books to them. And you have people that has read those books. They're always like, oh, you need to look forward to this. Oh, that's cool. What do you think about that? Oh, next season's going to be really awesome. Oh, this and that. I'm just like, why do you need to say anything?
But as long as the TV series or movies don't exist before the books, then you will always have those people.
But
It's a recurring problem.
Those people are annoying. Why can't you just not?
I can spoil everything for you. Shut up.
Why can you just not talk about what has been shown in the TV series instead of was talking about that I should look forward because it's gonna be cool, but I can't say what's gonna be cool, but it's gonna be cool, so you need to look forward to it, and all this. Because then I go into with expectations and everything. Like the worst thing a person can say to me is like, "Oh, you're watching that show? What episode are you on?" And I say like 12, and they say, "Oh, you need to look forward to the next episode. It's gonna be so good." Because then I go into that episode, and I'm with like anticipation of it being good, better than the other ones I've seen.
But what I say to that, you shouldn't keep your expectations to what other people say.
Of course not, but it gets into your mind.
Yeah, but you're very influenced by other people.
Of course,
If people tell me like, "Oh, the next episode is the best one," I'll be like, "We'll see."
Yeah, but you're looking at, even if you're not expected to be good, you're looking at things why this person thinks it's cool. So you're going into the episode with expectation instead of no expectations.
No, I had this same issue with movies because I watched the Interstellar movie. We talked about it a little bit before, and it's an excellent movie. I find it excellent. The critics were not as fond of it. So my perception of other people telling me that stuff is good is like, I'll see for myself.
I agree when it comes to critics, but people that I either trust their opinions or close friends or whatever, I actually let them influence me.
Like me telling you that you will love Scanlan.
Yeah.
That sort of makes you extra critical of everything that Scanlan will do.
Not necessarily, but like you telling me I need to see this show because it's good, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you telling me that, oh, you're going to love this character, blah, blah, blah. Then I will like pay extra attention to him until I love him or hate him. And it's easy for me to not like him because you said that.
Yeah. I very much understand and I agree that part is annoying, but it's very hard to sort of know what's going to happen in the next like 6 seasons of this show and not just, you know what, in season 7, this thing happens.
But to be fair, talking about Wheel of Time, it's already kind of not consistent already.
Yeah. So anything we say now could be very wrong. It's correct in the books.
True.
But it might be wrong in the show.
Then why say anything?
I prefer what we're doing mostly now, and that's talking about the differences after it's happened.
Yeah.
So I don't usually talk about this with people who haven't seen it before after it's aired, and then talk about them and say like, hey, you know that thing? No, didn't happen in the books. Or, you know, it's much better in the show like that. That kind of thing I really like.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And so far, all we've ever talked about on this podcast has not been any spoilers.
Not really. We've gone into more details about the One Power and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they might not ever actually discuss it because that's sort of like in between the lines. In TV shows, it's more prevalent in books where they talk about these things in sort of thoughts and memories and teachings that will probably never happen in the show.
Yeah, but you do also get a lot more insight in the books because you can't get visual clues. You have to like logically come to a conclusion based on what's written.
Yeah,
and then you have more details described line by line, so it's more easily to pick up.
But what makes sort of the magic system with the weaving and the Wheel of Time so fantastic is that from the beginning, from sort of book 3 or 4, you start to already know all of the rules of the magic system, and they sort of stick to it. Someone can't do something that hasn't been sort of defined by the rules of the magic system.
Yes.
Contrary to, for example, Lord of the Rings, where even at the end of the books, you don't know what could happen. What can Gandalf do?
True.
That's especially prevalent in Helm's Deep when he rides in and saves the day. Why wasn't he this powerful the last time we saw him or the next? Actually, at that point, it makes sense why he has different powers. But it's always like, he always seems like his magic can't do anything until it suddenly can. And it's sort of never a strict rule to what can Gandalf's magic actually do.
I have to agree on that because if I've watched a little bit lore videos after that, and it's like the powers of Gandalf and the wizards in general seem to be like very subtle powers, not what we will commonly like for D&D. I cast fireball. You don't have that. It's mostly like passive protection and like not proper invisibility, but just like not noticing people. Light spells, which are very like, I have a crystal on my staff that glows. It's like exciting the particles in the crystal to make it glow and stuff like that. It's very like natural magic, more druidic actually, I would say.
Yeah, they are basically druids.
Yeah, essentially.
In a way. But
And-
it's very different from all other types we know. So
Well, what we commonly, at least us who play D&D or have watched Harry Potter and stuff, it's very it's not very unmagical magic.
Yeah. And the thing about Gandalf that you need to know is the reason you don't see too much of him is because he needs to level up. In the way, like, he was gray and now white, and he needs to go to gold before he knows even more.
No. What you didn't understand is when Gandalf fought the Balrog and died, he actually became a Super Saiyan, and because he died, he powered up.
Yeah. So he's
Okay.
level 7 now.
So first of all, he technically didn't die,
I know.
and he didn't power up per se. He just had a new role because he took over Saruman's role as the leader of the, what is it, 7, I think?
I believe it's the two blue ones, the green one,
Brown.
Gandalf, the brown one, and Saruman.
Is that ranks? Like ranks?
Well,
No.
if you go by lore, they're not. But most of the time, they are defined as Saruman being the most powerful one.
Yeah.
Followed up by Gandalf, and then the blue ones, and then the green and brown, I think.
Yeah.
But
But
it's actually a flat. It's a flat. It's a flat curve.
Yeah.
They are actually equally powerful.
The brown one, that's the one who rides rabbits.
Rabagast,
Yeah.
I believe.
He is seen as the leader of the on in Middle Earth.
Mm.
Saruman is seen as the leader of the Istari, which
Yeah.
is the name.
But he's not really.
No, he's not really. But they all look to him for guidance because he has some sort of connection to whatever controls them, I believe.
As far as I'm aware, each of the different... There are essentially gods, which are represented by different elements and stuff. And Saruman is represented by fire. And Gandalf is represented by iron. He has the iron will. So they have different abilities and like base innate abilities, but they are power-wise equally powerful.
Okay. And the brown, like everyone.
Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
But you have like, I think it's more a question of inherent personality traits, because Saruman has the will of fire. He is an aggressive character. He is forceful. His personality is forceful. He dominates a room. Gandalf is will of iron, steadfastness, purpose, focus. So he doesn't like dominate a room in the same way. And Rabagast, if you have watched the Hobbit movies, he's very nature. He's the most nature-oriented wizard of them. And he listens to all nature and helps. He's a proper druid.
He's a crazy person.
Eh,
He is crazy. In the movies, at least.
if you surround yourself only with animals, you will eventually talk like he does.
He's not crazy, he's eccentric at best,
Yes.
I'd say. But Saruman was the leader of the White Council,
Mm.
which consisted of Gandalf, Saruman, Radagast, Elrond, and Galadriel.
Yes.
That's what he was the leader of, not the
Yes.
wizards themselves.
No, but he had the Wizard's Tower or whatever that was, and they considered that like their center of meeting and stuff like that, I believe. I haven't watched enough of it to know this, but he was like the one that most of them went to for advice and stuff like that.
How old are Gandalf and these guys
Oh,
again?
God damn, it's like thousands of years old, I believe.
Oh.
They are as old as the elves.
Are they old enough that they might be in the new TV series?
Oh, yeah.
They are.
I don't think age really makes sense when talking about these because
No, because
they're forces, they're powers, they're not people. They're not really alive.
think of it more, they are alive, but think of it more as if you had different gods, essentially gods. It's essentially gods. And they had an avatar. They manifested on the world. That is the wizards.
Okay.
So they are essentially immortal. They never die. They can be destroyed, I believe. But they never die in that sense.
And they've been around since what
The
is called the beginning of time.
Yeah. Essentially, the gods, or the god, I believe. I don't remember.
It's several, I believe.
The gods made the world, Middle Earth, and then the wizards were there.
Okay. And
there is one character I would hope they portray in the series, which is... Oh, god damn it, I forgot. There's a Tom Bombadil. That's a character that exists. I've only heard about him in YouTube videos and stuff, but he is a mystical character that's very jolly most of the time, and I think he's married to either a forest nymph or a forest goddess. And he is... If Sauron is powerful, Tom Bombadil is probably more powerful.
Oh.
But that is speculation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the wizards, do they keep the same form? Or do they change? Like the how they look? Do they look the same for over thousands of years? Do we know that?
They apparently, as far as I'm aware, are unaging. They do not change.
They look the same for like thousands.
Yes.
Okay. Because
they were not born; they were made.
Okay. So we will have them in TV series, not necessarily as actors, but like at least references and stuff.
Probably yes. They existed at that time, so we should hear about them at least.
Yeah.
We might see the blue ones instead of Gandalf, because Gandalf is so like set in like who he is and how we've seen him in movies and stuff. So we might see the other wizards instead.
Yeah. Because what have we not seen? The blue ones?
We haven't seen the blue ones. We haven't seen the green one. That's about it.
Yeah,
Because we've seen Radagast and Gandalf and Sauron. No, Saruman.
Yeah.
This is saying the blue ones are the two blues?
There are two.
Two blues and one green.
Yes, I believe so, if I remember correctly.
And there cannot be more than that.
No, because there was a set amount made at the beginning of...
There were 5 made, I believe.
2... Wait, so...
2 blue, the brown,
Saruman?
grey and white.
So grey and white, Gandalf and Saruman. Gandalf. The blue ones, and Radagast. So there's no green one, I remembered incorrectly.
Okay.
So 2 blue, 1 brown, 1 grey, and 1 white.
So the only thing we haven't seen are the 2 blues.
Yes.
So hopefully we get some of them in the TV series.
We might get Gandalf as well.
Right.
We never know.
We know
budget
very
is
little about the blue ones, as they sort of traveled out of Middle Earth, I think.
Yeah.
Or not out of Middle Earth, but out of the West.
Yes. They all travel extensively, but what we've seen in movies so far is only the brown one, the grey one, and the white one. So Saruman, Gandalf, and Radagast.
Alator and Palando are the
Yes.
blue wizards.
How much of the world have we seen in the movies?
Quite a bit, but there are... In the series, it can also include a continent we have not seen at all, I believe. Because you have... From my memory I have of the map, you have the right side of the map, which is what we see in the movies mostly. It's not all of it, because you have the people that enter in ships in Return of the King, I believe.
I won't.
The people that were supposed to show up in ships at the attack on the White City. Instead, there are ghosts.
Minas Tirith.
Yeah, Minas Tirith. But the people on those ships, we haven't seen where they came from.
Sure.
And on that same map, you have a western continent that we haven't touched on at all. And it's a very old continent. It's more relevant in the series, probably.
Maybe you don't know, but do we know a lot of stuff from those areas? Do we know like how they look like, who's from there, what races are there?
In the sense that the Silmarillion book exists, yes.
Okay.
And we have some letters written by Tolkien, so yes. But I haven't personally read enough about it to know.
But
stuff.
probably we're very little about those places then.
It's more. I think I said it on the last podcast or the one before. It's more general information.
Yeah. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To like explore those places.
So they have a lot of leeway. So I hope they get some writers and producers who are able to make their own stuff, because not like Game of Thrones, where they, couldn't make their own stuff after the books went out. So that's going to be sort of the interesting part going into the series, is if they are actually able to write good Lord of the Rings stories.
They should have exceptional leeway, so I really hope so as well.
But going into the magic of Lord of the Rings versus the Wheel of Time, it's a very different magic system. But it's also in Wheel of Time, it's very defined, while in Lord of the Rings, it's very undefined.
Yes.
The readers and the watchers, in the case of the series, do not know what the magic system in Lord of the Rings can actually do.
Yeah, it's much more of an undefined, subtle magic system.
Yeah.
It's not the direct magic of Wheel of Time or D&D or Harry Potter, for that matter.
Yeah.
It's in those other ones, it's a very defined system, and you have rules that you cannot really break.
Yeah, so that's in magic system, that's called hard versus soft.
Yes.
So Lord of the Rings is a very soft system, while Wheel of Time is a very hard system.
Lord of the Rings is an exceptionally soft system.
Yeah, and I'd say Harry Potter is also a very soft system. Even though you see a lot of the magic, there's always something new that can happen. You don't know what the wand can suddenly do.
Isn't Harry Potter more like there's probably a spell for everything? You just have to find a spell.
Yeah, that's what makes it soft, because suddenly you can have a spell that does resurrection. Even though they say there is no resurrection, you can suddenly have one.
If the plot requires it, you can do it, probably.
Yeah, which makes it a
soft system.
Soft and irrational system.
Yeah.
I believe that's the terminology. It's rational, irrational, soft and hard.
So Lord of the Rings is also soft and irrational.
Yeah.
Because it does what is necessary when you need it for plot.
Yeah.
Which is the same in Harry Potter. In Wheel of Time, it's a very rigid, so it's a hard logical system.
Yeah, we both know what it does, and it's consistent with itself.
I don't know what it does.
No, we do.
Okay. Yeah, we read the books.
Sure.
So that's also a very big difference between watching a show and reading books. Often a very hard system in books can be softer in a show, just because it's harder to convey the rules of something.
True. You need like a person standing up and just having a 10 minutes breakdown of what is allowed and not allowed.
Well, that is one of the reasons why in the Wheel of Time series I'd have liked it if it was color-coded in some way, because that would explain why you can do stuff the way they do it.
And then we'll explain like you can only do what the elements allow you to do.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah. So personally, I prefer it when books have a very hard system.
Yes.
I like that it's not just a plot device and that you can pull it out whenever you need it. Like Gandalf riding down the hills with no, that's the wrong series, with the Riders of Rohan. I was about to say Horadrim.
Ragadim.
Yeah. But so when he's riding down with the Riders of Rohan and the light shines and all of the orcs just scatter, and that's sort of like, that's using the magic as a plot device.
Yes.
Because it's not something he's ever done before. It's not something he's going to do again, and we didn't know he could do it.
Yes.
Before he did it.
I prefer that though.
He kind of does the same thing when he chases away the Nazguls at the White City.
It's similar, but it's such a different scale.
Yes.
That makes it sort of like, why didn't he just brighten it up against them as well?
Yes.
If he could have done that against them, he could have just stood there in the middle with this extremely bright sun, and they would have run away.
Or like, make me the biggest looking glass you can make, and just stand on the wall and ping!
And so,
just like burning ants on the sidewalk style. Yeah.
The thing I think you might think you like soft system better is because you like the not knowing the surprise.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it can't be hard.
True.
It's just that sort of a hard system has rules. How you use the rules, how you use the magic can differ. So you can do something extremely unexpected, but it follows the preset rules.
But I do enjoy, when it comes to magic, the foundation that anything's possible.
Yeah,
anything can happen.
I do agree there. And when we mention like set rules, hard and soft ruled magic, actually in Vox Machina, the TV series, or the YouTube YouTube Twitch show, they do the healing stuff.
Yeah.
But when not the druid does it, and that's not allowed, except rule of cool, which is the soft part of the indie magic.
Yeah. That also depends on the DM.
Yes.
Because the DM can make their own hard rules.
Mm.
I haven't, so my system as well is very soft. As a DM, my magic system can do anything, and I use it as a plot device heavily.
Mm.
That's because that's easy.
Yes.
I'm not a very good writer.
Yeah.
So that's
You're
but that's what separates me from these authors of multi-million-dollar book series. That this is what they do, this is their job. So they have the time, they have the ability to work on their magic systems and make them harder. But it's also dependent on what kind of show and books and systems you're making.
True, but making it softer is not necessarily easier. Because if you can do anything, you also need an explanation of how did they do it.
No, that makes it hard.
Why? But if
you need to explain how he did it, that makes it harder.
No. But if Harry Potter, for example, he uses a spell to resurrect a person, then you need to find out the spell. You need to have repercussions from him actually resurrecting something, and everything else. You have to build a lot more around it. And if the more crazy that idea is, the harder is it to defend it.
I wouldn't agree with that, because as long as you are able to do anything, it's a soft system, because there are no set rules that say this you can do, this you can't do. In a soft system, it's like, can I do this? Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah.
Resurrect people.
So what you're saying is sort of you're putting fluff around the reasoning.
Yes.
That's like, say Harry Potter, for example. Say that it's not possible to resurrect something in 6 of the 7 books, 8 books. Anyway, and then you get to the end, and then, if you use a phoenix feather and some basilisk eggs and combine them, run them through something, and then cast a spell, you can resurrect someone. But you couldn't actually do that in the first 6 books. It wasn't possible.
They just didn't know that it was possible.
Yeah, but that's what the soft system is.
Yes.
That you sort of, at any point, anything can be done. Which also means that why hasn't it been done before? Has no one really tried to combine these two things before?
Because in the Harry Potter series, you have a couple of 1,000-year-old history of magic. And if they knew that, then you should know it beforehand.
But of course they don't know everything.
No. The characters, yes, but in the system of their magic, there is no limitation on what you can actually do. As shown in Fantastical Beasts, you have this entity that is extremely powerful, and it's capable of magic that no wizard can do. And it's like, okay, so what can he do?
Become a shadow and fly around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A partially corporeal entity that flies around and destroys things, because he's apparently corporeal as well.
And a very sort of like evident reasoning why the soft system in Harry Potter easily fails and sort of ruins itself is the time turners.
Yes.
Which we talked about in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Time travel in Harry Potter is very possible. It's being used. But it wasn't used before, and it hasn't been used after that one book. Because using time travel would ruin everything in the show. But J.K. Rowling had a good idea. Oh, you know what would be a good plot device for this book?
Time travel.
Time travel. And then after writing the book and starting the next one, oh wait, this could be solved by time travel. All the time turners were destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay, who made the time turners? the magic still exists. It's just someone has to make a new time turner. Why hasn't anyone made a time turner? And why hasn't whoever made the time turners used the time turners?
Not even that. England is not the only country with magic. Why can't I get a time turner from France or Norway or bloody well China?
And if Great Britain doesn't have a time turner, why doesn't the Norwegian wizards rule the world?
Yes.
Because they have time turners.
Yes, of course they do.
That's sort of the problem with a soft system, that as soon as you introduce something new, you have to stick with it.
Mm.
And if you don't stick with it, you create a big
soft system, essentially.
Yeah, and a very big plot hole.
You guys are so boring. You guys are so boring. Why?
No.
In a magical world, in movies and TV shows, why do you have to introduce logic and rules into everything and question everything? Why don't you just live into it, watch it, have fun with it?
We
Let the magic take you.
Because
not question the magic.
Even with a very good magic system where almost everything is possible, you can still have the rules that make it a hard system and make it make sense.
Like Wheel of Time. Everything is very well defined.
But you don't need sense. And we need it to make sense when it's magical. That's the whole point of being magical.
But like Wheel of Time, it has very strict rules. But for the casual viewer, it still seems like they can do anything.
Yes.
But it has rules like an Aes Sedai cannot heal themselves, which is not something in the books, I believe. It's just a show
No, it is
thing.
in the books, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I don't remember.
They cannot use the true one, the source or the one true power on themselves. So they cannot heal themselves. They cannot, you can't fly, for example. You cannot make yourself fly in that system. But someone else can make you fly.
But that's just more boring.
No.
A more boring way of doing it. Because like later on, if they come to a scenario where the movies or TV show would be cooler if she made herself fly, then she should be able to make herself fly.
Yeah, but it's the hard system in Wheel of Time is very fun because of that. Because then it becomes a question of, can you do something that like goes around that rule? So can you make your clothes fly but not yourself?
But then you will have
like that is not a spoiler. That's an example.
Sure. But then you will have like 5 million of you guys sitting on every time they do something magical. Let me think. Can they do this? Yeah, that's allowed. Okay, I'll allow it. And question like everything they do. And if they make one single mistake that goes against the rules, you're gonna like spam the forums and everything. Just they cannot do this. They're breaking the laws.
No, those are the like ingrown nerds.
That's the Sindre and Åvars.
No, because I would be, can you explain this to me in a way it makes sense in the series? Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, and like
because I'm not that picky.
And like we're complaining about the time turners and saying that it creates a plot hole. I still loved that book, and I loved the revelation. I loved the way they use time turners. It's just the fact that
it
creates
device.
a plot hole for the entire series, which when you think about it after and when you think about it later, it ruins it a little bit. So she could have made something different that would make sense with the rest of the magic system.
I see where you're coming from, but still, like even after you told me that was plot hole, it's just like I don't care.
Yeah,
it's fine. It was fun. It was a fun scene. So if they needed to do that to make it a fun scene or fun movie, I'm good with it.
None of that ruined my enjoyment of either the books, the series, or anything else. It's just like when you think about it, it's a little bit annoying. But when that's my point. As I was watching the movie, as I was reading the book, completely fine.
Talking about magic and magic systems, Star Wars. Is it a hard or soft system?
You do not know anything about Star Wars.
You do not know about the dark side. I would say it's a soft system in the sense that you see... Well, it's a hard system in the sense that it's mostly telekinesis. Mostly. You have some powers that are like esoteric powers that, for example, Emperor the lightning, but also Emperor Palpatine is talking about one of the older Sith Lords who could bring people back to life. For example, that's a very like soft system, but at the same time, all we have seen in the movies is, for the most part, very hard system. Yeah. You can do these things, and you can only do them if you are powerful enough to do them.
Yeah.
For example, lifting the spacecraft, Luke, in the swamp in the old movies, 4, 5, and 6.
That's a good scene.
It's a very good scene. That is a very hard system because he's not able to do it because he does not have the visualization powers, for example. And midichlorians is the like power level definition of how powerful a Jedi can be. So it's a very on the surface hard system, but when you go deep into books and stuff like that, it's a very soft system.
Yeah, I think we're mixing the terminology a little bit with hard, soft, irrational, and rational. I think the system, I think hard and soft is about how the viewer perceives the system. So for us, it's a relatively hard system. I think it's around maybe 60% hard or something.
Yeah, 67.
Because it's not that defined that I could say that this is everything Luke is able to do, no matter what happens. But I think it's a very rational system in that there are rules. It's just we might not know everything as the viewer.
Yeah.
I believe. Because I think the system in Star Wars, the Jedi magic, is very predefined and very set rules, and they can only do this and this.
They define it in, I think it's the old movies. Midichlorians are inside everything. Literally, it's all around you. And the Jedi's magic, or force powers, are the ability to influence those particles in themselves and around themselves. So it's a very set system in that way. So I would say it's mostly a logic-based, physics-based system, but it's very convoluted.
Yeah, it is. I do love talking about Star Wars or Jedis as wizards.
Yes,
because
space
they are
wizards.
Space wizards. They are doing magic.
Yes.
What are your favorite magic movie or movie with magic?
Movies
or TV series? Like, what's your favorite film or TV series where they portrayed magic?
Difficult question.
And how they do it?
Yeah, I think the magic I like a lot in TV series and movies is, I think it's the Harry Potter one, because it's very direct. You do this movement and say these words, and then you get this effect. It's very straightforward. But if we're talking about books as well...
No, not books.
Okay, damn it.
You can talk about books as well. Please do.
So, The Name of the Wind. I don't remember the first one, but it's a very hard logic-based system. And it's based on your force of will, kind of. So one of the abilities you need to have as a proper wizard in that system is to split off your thought processes to make as many as you are able to, like simultaneous thoughts, preferably focused on the same thing. So as an example, if I had this for those viewing us on YouTube, hey, if I wanted to move this cup I'm holding in front of me, it's a metal cup. It has some water in it. It's like, let's say 0.2 kilograms. If I wanted to move that with magic, the easiest way would be for me to mentally connect this bottle with my phone. My bad. Connect it with my phone and drop my phone off the table. Because these would be connected, thereby the downward force of my phone would lift the cup. And stuff like that. Or, different connection. I could connect my phone to the cup and throw it on the floor. The kinetic force produced by the phone hitting the floor would produce heat in my cup, so I could warm the water. Examples. It's very open, but it's very, very logical. And that's my favorite one.
And yours, Sindre?
I think I have to agree with Harry Potter for a movie or TV series. I could also say the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as that is technically magic in a lot of the superheroes, all of the ones that are not technical. I think in a few seasons, The Wheel of Time will take the spot as the most interesting magic system on screen. Until Brandon Sanderson's books are become series and TV shows and movies. And over to books, obviously Brandon Sanderson, and I'm going to say Mistborn.
Yeah, fair.
Which is a very interesting system wherein the I was about to say heroes, but the magic users in the book series, they sort of consume metals, different kinds of metals. So if you, for example, consume iron, I don't remember what the different ones do, but you can push or pull things, you can fly, you can become stronger, all dependent on which type of metal you consume. And the metals are some of them are very rare, so they're hard to come by. For example, aluminum is I think it's the rarest metal on this, which is very interesting because it's based on the fact that aluminum for a while was a very expensive and valuable metal on Earth. It was valued higher than gold at one point. And that's sort of an interesting history tidbit because aluminum is, I believe, the cheapest metal you can find now.
Right now, it's probably the cheapest you can get, except for maybe lead.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And so, yeah, it's a very good system. And I'm just looking at a table here of how the system works. And you have steel, iron, zinc, brass, pewter, tin, copper, bronze, and then some other metals I'm not going to go too much into detail about because they're very spoilery. But all of these are set in a grid system where this and this react together. And some pull, some push, some dampen, some put external force. It's just very interesting. And as the metal is put into your body, you burn the metal inside your intestinal system somehow in your stomach.
If you're a mage.
If you're able to use this magic. And all of the wizards have different metals they are able to burn. So most people are able to burn, or most who are able to do this are able to burn 1 or 2 metals, I believe. I believe there are very few who can burn more than 2. And that's very interesting because from the start, the magic system is predefined with these metals. But you can only use 1 or 2. And then sort of going further into the series, you suddenly find someone who can use 4. And that sort of creates a whole new branch in this magic, because if you can both push and pull, and you can dampen, then you can push someone off an edge and then dampen their fall. You can pull someone back up again and dampen their ascent.
Or you can push and pull them at the same time, thereby crushing them.
Yeah, for example. And so that changes sort of the entire magic system every time someone is able to burn a new metal, but the metals are there from the start.
Yeah, and it's very hard but logical rule system for magic.
Yeah.
And I like that one as well, but I prefer the Name of the Wind stuff.
Yeah, I also love that one.
The only soft part of that is the ability to control elements. Yeah. So wind, for example. That's the least logical part.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing him finish the series and see if he can stay consistent. He's the most unreliable writer in the history of writers.
I'm still waiting.
Even worse than George R. R. Martin.
Oh, yeah.
So how about you, Kenneth? What's your favorite book series magic?
Naruto.
Per definition,
is that a book?
It's magic.
No, it's
and
not.
It's magic. The ninjutsu and the gaijutsu.
Yes, the book, and that was the only book I remembered that has magic.
Ninjutsu, taijutsu, kinjutsu, funjutsu.
But are superheroes magic?
Yeah,
superhero powers.
Some.
For example, Superman. Superman is a magical creature.
Well,
it's magic.
It depends on the reader. No, the writer, I mean. Because you have Superman, which is weak to magic.
Okay.
He is canonically and proper in the law, he's weak to magic. One of the villains is Dark Adam. He's a magical superhero.
Okay.
Or, for example, the movie we had a couple of years ago, Shazam. He's a magical superhero. Or Scarlet Witch. She's a magical superhero. Not all superheroes are a kind of magic, but quite a few are. Yeah. For example, if you go to Marvel on the other side, it's Thor, per definition, a magical superhero.
Okay, so with my assumption beforehand that all superheroes are magic, I would say Heroes, the TV series.
Oh, that's good. That's magic.
Was the best magic.
Yeah.
But since this is a difficult topic, I'm going to say Harry Potter.
I would argue that Superman is a magical being, even though the universe in itself doesn't call it magic. Because a lot of places where it's magic doesn't call it magic, even though they have magic and wizards.
But the thing is, in DC, you have Superman, and he is, as I said, canonically weak to magic. Yeah. So by that definition, I would say he's not magical, but depending on the writer.
Yeah.
But
it's just interesting.
He does fight with Black Adam, and he fights alongside Shazam. So he lives in a universe where magic exists.
Yeah, But I would say that someone who gathers their powers from the light rays from the sun and is able to do things with his body that is not physically possible, no matter how you look at it, is magic.
It's superhero bullshit magic. I
Yeah.
would agree on that. But they tried in the beginning at least to make it semi-plausible. If you go back to the original
Yeah, when you
comic
can leap a
books,
single building and
yeah, he
stuff
could
like
leap a building in a single bound. A building.
Yeah.
And that's in the 80s, 70s?
that. Yeah, 60s, 70s.
60s, 70s. So he couldn't leap a skyscraper in a single bound. He could leap like
Regular hoop.
5 or 6 stories high building in a single bound. And he could stop a car or maybe a train. Little iffy on that one. And he was bulletproof. That is true from the beginning. But he couldn't use laser sights. He couldn't bzzz and laser someone, I believe. But he could X-ray. So his power level has changed drastically over the years.
So that makes it soft magic.
Yes, very much so. If
learned something new today.
Superman is magic, it's bullshitty soft magic, plot lore, meh.
As the person in this room with most knowledge about superheroes, I'll confirm that it's magic. Superman is magic.
You have the most knowledge about superheroes.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
But I would say for Heroes, the show, that's the most magical, universes of supered power people that are actual magic, because of the fact that powers can be transferred between different entities. I'd say that as long as it's not sort of like a genetic thing, even though it is a genetic thing, it's also a thing that can be moved between people.
Sure. So I'll say that one as my final answer.
Yeah,
Did I win?
I don't know.
Okay.
Pick up a book, boy.
The books are boring. I need to focus then.
I haven't read the Heroes books, if they exist at
I
all.
don't think
Me
they're-
But I have watched the TV series, and I liked it mostly. My favorite character being the serial murderer, obviously, because he can copy abilities,
yeah.
which I love.
It's amazing.
I also like the guy who sort of steals your powers by being near you.
Yeah,
is very-
he's a power sponge,
Yeah.
but and I like that he actually retains the ability to use those powers afterwards, but he's not able to mentally be able to do that.
Yeah. Anyway, so due to the theme of today's episode, I made a quiz all about Harry Potter.
Oh.
Even though we've gone into a lot of different magic systems, I feel like we always go back to Harry Potter because I know that both Åvar and Kenneth have at least watched the series. You've tried to read the books.
I have listened to every Harry Potter audiobook, but I did not remember a single thing from the audiobooks because I cannot pay attention to two things at the same time, and I was too busy with leveling up a character and WoW.
But you have had the joy of listening to Stephen Fry.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a quiz soon where we're going to do difference between a movie and a book, or a TV series and a book, and what's different.
That's going to be
So
different.
I'm going to ask, was this the movies or the books?
That's kind of cool.
He's probably going to be better than you on that one if you've read the books, because it's easy to mix.
Yeah,
Especially for Harry
that's gonna
Potter,
be
because it's not that different.
yeah, it's going to be difficult for me.
Okay. We need to have buzzers. Kenneth, what's your buzzer of the day?
I'll do. You're a wizard, Harry.
I like it. Åvar, what's your buzzer?
Dumbledore said softly to Harry Potter.
Nice. Okay, number 1. What is Harry Potter's wand made of? Do we have any takers on that one?
Dumbledore said softly to Harry Potter. I think it's you. No.
No.
Curses.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I want both the material and the core.
Oof. You didn't say that.
Isn't
God damn you.
It's
Kenneth?
material and core. I thought it was something about the phoenix, but material and core, it's wood and plastic. I don't know. Actually,
Dumbledore
The material is the wood and the core is the core.
Dumbledore said to Harry, I know what the
Well-
core is. It's the phoenix feather from Dumbledore's phoenix,
I said something.
which
phoenix.
gave 2 cores, one to Voldemort's wand, and one to Harry Potter's wand. I do not remember what the wood is made of, but it's like birch.
No.
Okay, so I can say you're a wizard, Harry, and say phoenix feather and elk. Elk. No. what's the wood?
Yeah, say it then. Come on.
Is it elk?
No.
Say it to me.
No. I was very surprised because I thought I knew, and then I checked up on it and I was wrong myself.
Birkwood or something like that.
Do you want to know what it is?
What is the
Actually-
wood? Because I know the core.
If you can guess the length, if anyone can guess the length of the wand and the core, I will give you the point.
Dumbledore said softly to Harry, "Is it 11 inches?"
It's 11 inches. So Åvar gets the point. But
Woohoo!
it's Hollywood with a
Holly.
phoenix feather core, 11 inches.
Well, it's not Hollywood, it's Holly.
Hollywood.
And I don't remember what it's in Norwegian.
Me neither.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Second question. What's the name of the creature Hagrid was hiding when he was expelled?
Dumbledore said softly to Harry,
Åvar?
"It's an acromantula named Aragog."
That's correct. 2 points to Åvar. Question number 3. What is Voldemort's birth name? Bonus point. What are the names of his parents?
You're a wizard, Harry.
Kenneth?
Oh my god. Tom.
I have the answer if he doesn't.
Tom Riddlestone.
I have the answer, I believe. At least his name.
Åvar?
Tom Marvolo Riddle.
Yes, sir.
And his parents were... his father was just Tom Riddle, I believe.
Correct.
And his mother was... I have it like on the tip of my tongue, god damn it.
Do you have any clue on the mother?
No.
No.
Magdalena.
I think to know the name of the mother, you have to have read the books.
I have, and it's just like barely out of reach, and I can't quite remember it because it's the Marvolo family, and her name was
So the mother's name is Merope
Meropius.
Gaunt.
Gaunt.
So no bonus point, but a point.
Yes.
Yeah, you get the point for
I
Tom
almost had
Marvolo
it.
Riddle.
Mm.
So that's 3 points to you,
Woo!
0 to Kenneth. So, what is the spell for unlocking doors?
Dumbledore said softly to Harry,
Åvar?
"Lomora."
Kenneth, you had that one?
No, but I knew Åvar had it.
Yep.
You suck at this game.
Yeah.
That's like one of the 2 most iconic spells,
It's
along with...
It's a Lomora and Vingardium Leviosa.
Yes.
The thing is,
switch.
flick and switch. And the Lomora is like the third spell they use in the film, I believe. Because the first one is repairing Harry Potter's glasses. The second one is Vingardium
Is that
Leviosa.
just Reparo?
Yeah, I think it's Oculus Reparo.
Yeah.
Repair
That's a weird
glasses,
spell.
essentially. In Latin-ish.
Yeah.
Latin-ish.
I think that spell is very weird in Harry Potter because it's too specific compared to the other spells.
Well, in the sense that I think it's a combination spell in the sense that Reparo is the base, and then you just need to name the thing.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think I read it also that it's just Reparo. So you can just point at something and Reparo, and you'll repair it. So yeah, it's a very soft system, as we said earlier.
Especially considering that it's the name of an object that might have been named after the magic system was named, but it might be sort of... That's the problem with the soft system again.
Exactly.
Because it might be a focus for the repair spell
I think
that
so.
the wizard needs to point at.
But as
somehow.
we specified earlier today, it's a soft system.
Yeah.
You're overthinking it.
Okay, that's 4 points for Åvar, 0 points for Kenneth. I'm going to give this victory to Kenneth if he can answer the last question,
No.
because this is a book-only question.
Mm.
What is the name of the poltergeists that live at Hogwarts?
You're
All
a
of them?
wizard,
Just the
Harry.
one. The main.
Oh,
Poltergeist.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Kenneth?
Peter.
Nope.
Dumbledore said softly to Harry,
Åvar?
Peeves. Also,
Correct.
Peeves.
I actually had that.
You were very, very
Very
close.
close, yeah.
When you started P and then like, oh shit.
Yeah, because it is a part of some of the early games.
Yes.
And you have read the books.
I've not read the book.
You've heard the books.
I've read the books, I've watched the movies, and I've played the 2 first games. The one on PlayStation 2. Yes, I believe so.
Mhm.
So I have done a lot of that.
Yeah, I remember Peeves was very annoying in one of the early games.
Yes.
He was always pestering Harry.
Yes. He is Peeves the poltergeist, the only poltergeist in the entirety of Hogwarts, I believe, and he's afraid of the Bloody Baron.
Mm-hmm. Poltergeists are very interesting because
Yes.
they're unalive. They've never been alive, they will never be alive, and they will never die.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
I thought they were like a different kind of ghost.
No, they're not even ghosts. They're just, what's it called?
Spiritual manifestations of something.
Yeah, they're unalive. It's a word beginning with A that I can't remember at the moment.
I never even heard of poltergeists.
You haven't?
In Harry Potter.
They're not in
Harry
the
Potter,
movie.
But you've heard of poltergeist before.
Yeah.
They actually screen tested Peeves in the movie. So there are pictures of a guy hanging from ropes
There are?
that look like Peeves. It's hilarious.
Because the difference in Harry Potter between a ghost and a poltergeist is a poltergeist can physically interact with things, which is the traditional way poltergeists function.
No, but I've not read
But
the
he
books,
is-
and I can't remember anything. I only remember Stephen Fry's voice, so I would not be able to do that question.
I've read the books a couple of times, I believe, at least 2 times.
Yeah.
And I've seen the movies a couple of times, so I have a lot of the stuff stored in the memory banks.
Yes, I watch all the movies once a year, but I don't remember things.
The fun thing about the Poltergeist as well is that he actually joins the Order of the Phoenix and is a very important part of the Battle of Hogwarts at the end.
Not in the movies.
No,
Nope, he's not in the
He
movies.
he doesn't exist in the movies.
Which is
Then he doesn't exist.
he's the
Of course
biggest.
not.
He's sort of the biggest thing that's missing in the movies.
Kind of, but
I
you
believe-
also had in the first movie, there should have been a troll in the tasks going into the room with the mirror.
Ooh.
There was not a troll.
But I don't think that's
And
big.
no, but it is like when you read the first book and you saw the first movie, it's like, hey, there are missing 2 rooms here. What the hell?
I think we should have a full episode just talking about the differences between the movies and books of Harry Potter.
I don't remember all of it.
No, we can read up on it, but I have a lot of things I want to say that I'm not going to say right now because I
Okay.
want to do it in the future.
Fair enough.
Anyway, Åvar, do you have a review for us to
Yes.
try to guess today? I'm
I
very
do.
hyped for this because last time we didn't do so well.
I
We got
won.
close.
I like this better. Like, I'm a competitive person, but I like this better than the quiz because the quiz I always loses. This, if I lose with Usna,
Yep.
and if I win with Usna.
So I thought you would like the quiz better just because it's competitive, but I think you have a problem being competitive if you know you're probably going to lose all the time.
Yeah, it's not so fun going into competitive setting where like you're a minus 500 favorite to win. It's just like, nah, it's not gonna happen.
I was thinking that this time Kenneth's going to have a chance. We're talking Harry Potter. He loves Harry Potter.
He should have gotten some points at least. Instead, it ended up 5-0.
But it's like if the Harry Potter question was like, what's the name of the 3 main characters, then I could have gotten it. But when it's like, what is the wood on his stick, then yeah.
Kenneth, what is the name of Harry Potter's firstborn child?
Like, these are the questions.
Dumbledore said to Harry Potter,
These are the questions I have no clue about.
Albus
Oh yeah.
Severus. It was something else as well, but it's Potter at the end.
Yeah.
But it's at least Albus Severus, I know.
Isn't it with the guy who died in the?
I think it's just Albus Severus.
Yeah. But I think it was one more as well. But
No.
it's at least
It's
Albus
just
Severus.
his being nicknamed Al.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably what you remember.
Well,
But yeah, it's Albus from Dumbledore and Severus from Severus Snape.
Yeah, and then you have James Sirius Potter,
That's what
which
it
is
was.
the brother, and then you have Lily Luna Potter,
Luna,
and then you have
okay.
James Potter the second and Lily Potter the second.
Does he have 5 children?
I think it's based on what you read or see,
Okay.
the plays and everything.
True.
Yes. There is more lore outside the movies and the books.
Yeah, I think the most canonical is James Sirius Potter, Lily Luna Potter, and Albus Potter. But
Yes.
Albus Potter is the eldest, I believe.
I want more movies from Harry Potter schools or like the Wizarding World schools.
Yeah, from like
Albus Severus is actually
Durmstrang.
the second.
What?
Albus Severus is actually the second.
Oh, okay. But anyway, Durmstrang. I didn't remember the other one actually right now, but the French one.
Oh, you didn't know the names of the school as well?
Durmstrang.
Yeah.
That's the Bulgarian one on, and it's actually, according to some lore, I believe that's the one that Norwegian wizards go to.
Ooh. We need some. They'll probably be in those winter coats.
Yeah, those coats were nice. I would like one of those.
Yeah.
So, bad reviews with Åvar, Sindre, and Kenneth. So this one is 6 out of 10 actually, but it's you'll see. The title is Nothing Special, but Not as Bad. I think that many of the users here do the movie a bit wrong. Not that I want to say it is by any means an excellent movie or anything alike, but it is not so much worse than your average mediocre fantasy movie. I don't know in how far the franchise is adopting in the movie, so really in this aspect I can't say much or argue. But what we get story-wise is a fantasy tale already told 100 times before. There is a kingdom with a proud and honest queen, threatened by heartless inner opponents, and finally depending on unlikely heroes to be saved. Not very original, but good enough for an one-timer. I actually kind of connected with the characters, even though they are mostly one-dimensional. Nonetheless, their characteristic along with the trash factor of the movie, adding up to quite nicely to give this film some substance. It is settled somewhere between a child movie, for which it is a bit too explicit, and an adult fantasy film, for which it is a bit too childish. All in all, lay back, relax, expect nothing, and you won't be disappointed.
Fantasy movie franchise.
I'm left with barely anything from that.
It's a very vague review, but I chose it specifically. You can ask me specific questions, and I will answer.
I'm thinking of Narnia for some reason.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah, fancy queen, heroes trying to save.
Explicit and heroes, yeah.
Personally, I would not say that Narnia is particularly explicit.
No, that's what made me question my thought.
I'm pretty stuck on fantasy.
I can think of so many movies I've seen that could probably fit this, but I can't remember any of the names at the moment.
No. You want to know when the movie came out?
Yes, please.
Sure.
2000.
2000, a fantasy movie with heroes and queens. Oh, this is hard. Are there any names popping up in your head, Sindre?
Nothing at the moment.
Do you want another hint?
Yes, please.
I would say from the movie, the two most famous actors are the villain and the secondary hero. So not the main hero.
If you don't have any names for...
And that's the most famous actors.
Yeah, but if we don't have any names, then we can't come up with anything.
No.
On the actors. So... No, we actually have to give us more here.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm blank.
I'm blank.
So I'm going to give you the villain's actor's name.
Okay.
Jeremy Irons.
I have no clue what that is.
I know.
Who is he? What else has he played in?
A lot. I can't think of anything at the moment.
Do you want the side hero's name?
Yes,
the actor.
Please.
The actor's name is Marlon Wayans.
I don't know what that is either.
It is a very famous black comedic actor, mostly.
Okay.
What did you say his name was?
Marlon Wayans. So his name is spelled Marlon, like you would spell Marlon. Wayan's. Wayans.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. Do you want his character name?
Yes, please.
Snails.
Snails?
His character name is Snails.
Nope.
Would you like the villain's name?
Yes, please.
Profian.
Profian.
Doesn't ring a single bell.
Oh, no, it's not. Is it the no, it's not, but is it?
Sindre should know this one.
Is it with some where you have like gods' sons, like half gods and stuff?
No.
Okay.
Do you want a big hint?
Yeah.
It involves dragons.
How to Train Your Dragon. Dragons.
Espen is not here, Kenneth.
Dragons.
Okay, there's something with Jeremy Irons and dragons.
I have.
But I'm
There
drawing a
are
blank.
multiple things
And
with
I hate
Jeremy
myself
Irons
right
and
now.
dragons.
Everyone who's listening probably knows this by now.
Yep.
They should.
It's always hard being in this chair.
Yep, it is. No, no clue.
Secondary huge hint, and this one gives it away.
Okay.
Dungeons.
And Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons.
The movie Dungeons and Dragons from 2000.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't?
Is it,
I'm so disappointed in you.
is it actually Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes,
Oh,
the,
okay.
the movie
I've just
Dungeons
heard
and
it's-
Dragons from 2000,
I've just
including
heard of it. that it's
including
shitty.
the actors Justin Wallin, Jeremy Irons, Zoe McClellan, Bruce Payne, and Marlon Wayans. A couple of others as well, but those are the big ones. It has Dungeons and Dragons. It's a cult movie, I would say.
Oh, yeah, it's the Scream guy.
Huh? What? Scream guy?
Marlon Wayans.
Oh yeah, Marlon Wayans. He's in the Scream first movie? No, second movie. Yes, second movie.
Scary movie, I mean.
Yeah, scary movie, whatever.
He's
And
in both the first
he's
and
in
second
like not Legally Blonde, but he and another one, they dress up as white women. He's a very famous comedic actor.
I've
Yeah,
never seen-
he's in all of the scary movies.
Yeah,
He is.
and
the scary
Jeremy
movie.
Irons, he is in Dungeons and Dragons, and he's also in Aragon, which
Right,
is
yeah.
probably one you thought about.
Oh, I just saw a
Yeah.
picture.
I
know
I
that.
thought about
He is
Aragon, but I-
also one of my favorite actors because he either overacts massively, which he does in this movie, which I love. He's like properly mad wizard, like, yes, power, ultimate power, like properly.
So I haven't seen this movie because everyone says it's shit.
No,
the
it's
time.
good.
So I should see it.
Okay, fair review. It's old now. The special effects are not fantastic. The comedy is typical of its time, and it's not fair to D&D. But I personally like the movie, and the villain is very good, and the side villain, the supporting villain is good in the sense that he's horrible.
It has a 3.7.
Yep, I know.
Wow.
it's not a good movie, but you'll
Yeah.
probably like it.
Yeah, I probably will. I'll watch it when I drink sometime.
I've never heard about it, and I'm never gonna watch it.
Mm.
What I am going to watch is the new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out next year.
Oh, nice. I've watched that Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I've watched the follow-up Dungeons and Dragons movie, which include, spoilers, an undead dragon.
Undead Dragon.
Mm.
Okay.
That movie is worse than the first one. I didn't like that one. But anyway, I win! Ha! It's an obscure movie, but I expected Sindre to at least have watched it once.
Sure.
I know about it.
Yeah.
I've considered watching it many times. I've decided not to.
Have you still not watched The Gamers?
The gamers.
I have linked it to you, I believe. It's The Gamers. It's out on YouTube by... Oh, what is it? Dead Gentleman Productions, I believe.
I have not.
They have The Gamers 1, 2, and 3. Gamers, The Gamers is the first one. The Gamers Darkness Rising is the follow-up. And The Gamers Hands of Fate, I believe, is the third one. And the third one is essentially Magic the Gathering. Kind of.
My take from this, or my conclusion is, Åvar, you watch too many weird movies.
Yes.
Weird movies are fun. We
Yes.
just don't watch the same weird movies.
Fair.
And I haven't had that much time to watch weird movies.
I
in a
will
long
say
time.
for the people on listening to this or watching it on YouTube, hey, of the two, Dungeons and Dragons, the movie from 2000, or The Gamers, watch The Gamers. Because it's a movie made by college students that play D&D, and it's about D&D. and it's a typical group of D&D players, as not like very experienced ones. So the plot is typical D&D. So like, you get ambushed, but I have the aware feat. Go in a river, and it's like, it's proper D&D. And so is the follow-up.
All right.
Okay, so this far into the episode, you've probably noticed that we haven't talked about a game yet. We did play a game, but we didn't record anything about it. We played Love Letters. Me and Kenneth have played it a few times before.
Åvar as well.
Yeah.
Åvar as well. So I think we should quickly just review the game. We don't need
Fair
to
enough.
say too much about it.
Well,
Love Letter is a quick sort of 15-minute game. Can take longer, can be shorter. It's most fun, I believe, if you get 4 or 5 players.
a Force Max.
4 is max. Yeah, 4 players.
I think 4 is more interesting.
And it's so you put cards out. Every card has an ability, and it's the one that has the highest card at the end, or the only player left at the end who wins.
It's basically your objective is to be the one who gets to deliver the letter to the princess.
Yeah, basically that's the theme.
If you're the last one left, you're the one who gets to deliver the letter.
The only problem I have with that is that the princess can deliver the letter to herself.
No,
Yes.
you're the one that delivers the letter. So if you have the princess at the end, you deliver the letter to the
I
princess.
don't agree.
You
No,
as the
but you
player
want-
give the
No.
letter to the princess, so you want to end up with the princess, so your letter actually arrives at the princess.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, it's a very fun, fast game. There are also a lot of different versions of the game. I've played, for example, Batman,
Yep.
Love Letter to Batman.
Oh, this is coming a new one now soon. I think it's a Boba Fett one.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
What? Oh, Boba Fett.
Yep.
Yes.
There's a weird theme for that game, but anyway, it should have been sort of like Princess Leia or something.
No, Boba Fett. This is Jabba the Hutt.
Anyway,
One of them.
Kenneth, what do you think about Love Letter?
Rating it. I'm just gonna just skip right to the rating. It's a fast-paced filler game. Do we rate it as a filler game, or do we rate it as a full game?
Just rate it as a game.
Rate it
Yeah.
as a game.
Every game is a game,
Okay,
even though
true,
its
true,
position in gaming is
True.
filler.
Yes.
It's probably my favorite filler game. It's a good game. I can play it for even though it's just like a 15-minute game, I can play it for hours. So I could actually join playing this for the whole game night. I really enjoy it. It's quick. It's calculating. You can see what cards are out, so you can actually calculate to find out what's left. Even though they can have different cards, so you don't know exactly what's happening. So I'll give it a solid 8.5. 8.
8.
Back
You're
to 8.
bringing it back down. So based on our ratings table, that is a very good game, but it's not a game you always bring along.
Wait, is 9 always bring along?
Yeah.
No, 8.5 then, because
8.5.
it's basically always bring it because it's a filler game. But it's the filler game part that makes me bring it every time. Now, back to that, because it's the filler part of the game that makes me bring it all the time. But if I was to choose one game to bring, that's not necessarily the game I bring.
Yeah, that's what I was about to tell you, that it might be a game that you always bring along, but you don't bring it along because it's fantastic. You bring it along because it's a filler game and you can put it in between the big, awesome games.
Yes.
Or when you set up a game. Like when you set up the game we're going to play, the others can play.
That's what I
later.
mean
Yeah.
by between
Yeah.
the big, awesome games.
A filler game.
Åvar, what do you think about Love Letter?
It's a very fast-paced and easy-to-play game. It's very easy to learn. It's very easy to get deep into it in that sense. But it is very much a filler game. My big issue with it would probably be that there's a very limited amount of actions you can do, which, depending on what cards you draw, limit you even further based on what cards you draw to what you can do. So for me, I would probably like it if it was a little bit more expansive. So like for 2 more characters, and 4 more cards probably. I would like it even more, but it's still a like 7.5 for me. It's a very I every time it's brought forth and it's like, do you want to play Love Letter? Sure, I'm in. Sounds good.
Yep, I'm putting
So
it as
7.5.
7.5. Good.
Yeah, and the thing we have to remember, just building on what you said, is if the more you add, the sooner you go away from getting a filler game. If you have small
But if you add only like 2 more characters, that wouldn't be much.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But the more you add on a filler game, the sooner it leaves being a filler game.
Yes, it's sort of a fine line where you need to make sure that it's a quick, fast-paced game that doesn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes. That each round is fast-paced, quick.
I just have to point out, because we played this a little bit before this podcast, I won once.
Yep.
And I had the princess once, and I lost it because of a card I drew.
Yeah. So what you're saying is...
So it's... Okay, I'm a little bit pissy, okay, goddammit.
So what you're saying is if you won more, it would be an 8?
No,
okay.
It would still be a 7.5 because it feels for me like it lacks a little bit of balancing. Just like the salt on top. It just leads a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So 7.5 for me.
So for me, I would say that this is, if we were rating sort of filler games independently, I would say it's a 10.
Yeah.
It's the perfect filler game. You can
More or less.
always bring it up. I think most people will enjoy it, have fun. It's fast enough that you don't get bored. And if you don't take it up too often, it's always going to be fun. But we're rating this as a game. So we have to rate it up against, for example, Imperial Settlers and Volt that we have rated the other days. And my favorite games I'll have to think about as well. So I'd say that I would put this as a solid 7. I recommend it to everyone. But that's where I sort of set my limit on this game. Due to the fact that it's so small.
And it is limited because it's a filler game. As compared to other games, compared to full game night games, it is limited by being a filler.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think I can justify going higher than a 7 on this game, because I have to sort of look at other games that I would rate at 7 or 8 and say, would I ever pick Love Letter over this game for the game I'm going to play? Probably not. Therefore, down to 7.
But I have to agree, as like in the criteria of a filler game, it's not necessarily a 10, but it would be a 9 or 9.5 because it's so close to being the perfect filler game.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't play this on camera and record it due to some COVID interruptions of our regular schedules. We decided to just skip that one. It's a quick, easy video. So maybe sometime in the future we're going to play Batman Love Letter on video. You'll all have to see. But I want to make one thing clear. My winning streak is still going.
Sure.
God damn it.
I won this game as well.
I call bullshit. I call shenanigans.
It's only 3 games though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's going to lose like the next 90.
So I want to find out which game I'm going to win next week. So we're going to roll the Wheel of Games. We need to find a better name for that one. Didn't I find a good name last week? No. Or 2 weeks ago, I mean. So the game we're going to be playing next week is The Great City of Rome.
Interesting.
Oh, I haven't heard about that one, I think.
I think I've played it.
No, you're not.
Haven't I?
No. Because it's a more... it's a less known game.
Stick our hands in the game box?
You might have played it when we opened the store. You might have had to join it on that.
Yeah, I've played it once.
Okay, then it's been when we opened the store. Because I only played it once as well, and I don't think you find that game in a lot of stores.
No, I don't know what I think about the game. I don't remember it well enough, so it's going to be very interesting to play it on stream.
Yeah.
This game is made by Seaman Games, and they make a lot of good games.
They do.
Seaman.
So I'm very interested in seeing how that game plays out.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of tonight's episode of Talk About Nerds.
Talk about nerds.
If you like what you're seeing, please leave a review. Please write a comment telling Åvar how his bad review is awesome.
Or bad.
Telling me how stupid I am for not connecting the dots and knowing what he's talking about.
To be fair, you didn't watch that movie.
Or about Kenneth, how bad he is talking about Harry Potter.
Yes. You are bad. It's empirical evidence, Benno.
So if you
Just
like
the
what
wrong questions.
So if you like what you're watching, if you like what you're listening to, please like this video, please subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell if you want to be alerted as soon as we upload another video. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.